Hi guys, I'm Annabelle and welcome to Meeple Village. Today we're going to take a look at In the Ashes. This is actually a board game, but it's also a book. So join me at the table and let's see what In the Ashes is all about. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to first do a spoiler-free just tell you about the book without showing you anything, and then later in the video, if you don't mind, I'm going to try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, but I do want to show you in the book what I mean by this is actually a board game. It's called a game, but it really feels like a board game. So this is a game by Pablo Aguilera. Really good job, Mr. Pablo. So it is a book, so that means that you can travel with it. At first, when I first heard about it, I thought, oh, it's choose your own story kind of book. I like those. I used to read those when I was younger, and I read, oh, what's the name of that game? I'll tell you in a minute. But I remember there was a game that I played recently that also had that kind of choose your story, but there was a map, and it was amazing. But so when I saw that, I was like, okay, well, that's good enough, but it's not all. There's much more. This actually is like a puzzle in a book. All you need to play is the book and a pencil or a pen. You can go through the book twice. The second time around, you will make different choices than the first time around, and it's easy to check if you've made those decisions. So how does it work? Well, it works this way. You start reading the story, and all of a sudden you'll have to make a choice. When you make that choice, what you'll do is you'll mark a page, a different page, all the way maybe in the middle of the book or even at the end of the book, by just taking a peek and just looking at the symbols that you're going to mark, because the symbols that you're going to mark are right on the edge. So you just mark it and you won't even be able to read what you've marked. And I've found out that when I get to the choice, I'd be like, ooh, I wonder, what did I choose that I got this now? I don't even remember what I chose that got me this result later on. But that's the beauty of the book, that you won't know what your choices meant until you, or sometimes never, but until you reach that part of the book. And the book brings you back and forth. So you'll be reading on page 50 and then go back to page 25, then go to page 90, then come back to page 11. It takes you everywhere. But like I said, there's more, because there are battles in this book, and it does an amazing job of taking you little by little, showing you the rules. So there are no game rules. All the rules are here. And you start like with the simple weapons and stuff, but then you find more items. You get specialized, and so you can become, for example, I don't want to spoil, but there's a class, like let's say a warrior, which that's not the class, but you know, so that put it in, you can be either a cleric or a warrior, let's say, and you'll have different not items, but different abilities because of what you chose. And once you choose, you can't change. So it's like a decision that's going to impact the rest of the book, the rest of your story. The story is so far, I'm still starting, so I don't know, but it's kept me going. It's interesting enough that I want to know more about what is it that this guy that I'm following is going to do with his destiny. It's a very big mystery. I mean, as a good book should have, right? What else? You know, I looked in the back, and I shouldn't have. Well, it's actually the instructions. The back of the book does have like some rules clarifications and stuff. And I went back there because it told me, hey, if you need some rules clarification, go to this page. And I went, and there's like so much. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I still have so much to discover. And I can't believe it, because already I feel like I've learned, like I've done so much as far as my character doing more when battles, or they call it scenes, are encountered. So, you know, if you've never heard of In the Ashes, oh, something else that's really cool. So the book, at the beginning of the book, and that's not a spoiler because that's part of the instructions, it tells you that throughout the book, you're going to find the title of the book, In the Ashes, in the reading. And if you're able to find it 3 times, there are, I think, 3 acts in the book. So probably once per act, but I don't know. I've only found 1. But I did find 1. But if you find all 3 and you do a simple math, you look for a passage in the book and you discover like an extra plot. And it says that few people have found the 3. I don't know if that's true, but I can believe it, because sometimes you get so into the reading that you're not paying attention to the words. You're just going with the story. So also very cool. But basically that's it without me showing you. But now I do want to show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to turn to one of the scenes or battles in the book so that you kind of have an idea of the puzzle that I'm talking about, and how to solve it. And so let me tell you, sometimes my head wants to explode. It's like, oh, well, I can do this and I can do that, I can do the other thing, but then this is going to happen and how am I going to get away from this? So, and again, you use a pencil. You're not supposed to erase, so you could also use a pen, and your decisions are final. There are modifiers in the book, which is amazing, kind of like Gloomhaven. And so for a modifier, you roll a die and you're thinking, well, I don't have a die, I just have a book and a pen, or a book and a pencil. It doesn't matter, because the book in every page has a number, a six-sided die printed on them, and you just flip to a random page, and that's the die result that you get. So all of that, like I said, you don't need anything else. Everything is here between these two covers. But I'm gonna go ahead and open it up and show you a battle. I probably will show you one of the ones I've already done so that you can see how crazy it gets when you're in the midst of battle. Okay, so here we are in this scene. I believe this was actually a boss fight. So yes, there's even boss fights which are harder than regular fights. All of the instructions, or especially the new stuff that happens, is going to be denoted here with numbers that match the map. So for example, if 1, well, I don't know where 1 is, but 2 is right here. So there'll be this little square is going to be talking about this, the lock symbol and stuff like that. This is your character. And you're going to get to pick 3 cards to play, but there's a puzzle to it, of course, because if you pick this card, you cannot pick any other card from this row or this column. So you could pick like this 3, or you could pick like this 3, but you cannot pick this and this and then this. So it doesn't seem like much, but let me tell you, it can drive you crazy to figure it out. And then you mark what in what turn you used it. So for example, I used 1, 1, and 1 on turn 1, and then on turn 2 I used 2, 2, and 2. So you see that I didn't use the same column or row. And then of course everything is going to give you like an attack, a move, and then some special abilities. You get an item later in the game, which you should be looking at. That's definitely a spoiler. But then later on, you'll have multiple items. And if you pick an item and you found another one, you have to right away decide, do you want the new one or do you want to keep your old one? And of course, you don't know what's going to be more beneficial in the next fight or in the next few fights. So like I told you, there's a printed die on every page. So you just flip and you find the number. It's even on the other side of the page. So there's one there, so you can make those decisions. There's your modifiers depending on what die you get, and the monsters also get modifiers when they attack. You've got a map, and what you do is when you move, let's see, the first time I moved from here to here. So I put X on turn 1, I was here on 1. Then on turn 2, I came over here, and on turn 3, I ended up here again to beat him down, I guess. And same with him, if he had moved, we would mark, I guess he didn't move because I was right next to him, so he didn't need to move. And then the behavior of the monster is right here, so it'll tell you exactly, here's his life. You have to hit this before you can hit the locked one. There's status effects that you can apply as you go. And then here are the rounds. So the first time I acted first, I went first because that's X, is me. And then I marked it that I went, and then he did this. And then here it even gets more complicated. He could have either one of these behaviors depending on what you roll or go dig for in the book. So if we see a 1, 2, 3, or 4, he would have done the top action, but on a 5 or a 6, he would have done the bottom action. And then you mark, first you mark the one he's not doing, and then when you get to the round, then you do the one that he actually did. And yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's kind of like Gloomhaven in a book, but you're not picking from top to bottom, but you are picking 2 things to do, and you have to kind of figure out which one is going to be, the ones that you decide to use. And then I'm going to show you, let's see if I can find one. There's got to be one here somewhere. Okay, so here. So see how I flip the page and I will mark if I made a choice and this is the symbol that I needed to mark. Sometimes there's more than one. Come on. Let's see. Of course, now you're going to be difficult, aren't you? So you have to know what symbol you're marking. All of them have one. Call me a liar. There we go. So like this page has a bunch. So you would have to make sure you're marking the right one. Then when you get to this page, sometimes what happens is the text that you unlock is upside down. That way you don't read it by mistake. Very clever that they put it upside down, because I know I'm a cheater, and if I get there, I will probably read it. But having to do the effort of flipping the book around, I'm not going to do that and spoil stuff for myself. So yeah, I mean, that's basically it. And let me show you in the back, so just so you see, because again, these are the so here's a summary of the rules. And of course, please don't read it if you're going to buy the book. Where's the... Yeah, there's runes, a grimoire, which I don't know what that is. Second of chance, actions in detail. So there we go. But I wanted to show you. Okay, here we go. Arcane consequences. I don't even know what this is. All the way to Z. And again, all the way to Z. I have no idea what that is. I'm sure I'll know later. There's a safe spot so that you can keep track of what items you've got in what page. There's also alternate modes and a second campaign, like I said. I think that's it. Yeah, that's the end. So again, there's a lot to discover. I know I saw more stuff, but I don't... Okay, well, maybe not. Okay, well, there you go. So again, there's a little bit of what the book is all about. But explore Over Island, choose your destiny. You definitely feel like you're choosing your destiny. So again, I just wanted to bring it up to you guys, because I know that I didn't know that this game existed. I don't even know how I found it, but so far I like it a lot, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I won't do a run through of it because it will be full of spoilers, and I don't want to spoil the story for you guys because I think the story is pretty good. So and even if it's not that great, if you don't think it's great, if I do anything, you'll be reading into it, and I don't want to do that to you guys. I want you guys to discover it on your own. But that is In the Ashes, so have fun reading. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you follow and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram. And yeah, until then, may you play more games.